turn my computer on, and we all have like a Teams chat. So the Teams chat is kind of like you just everyone in the morning at exactly 8:30 you just say like good morning or whatever. I usually just say one word, and it's never good morning. It's usually like hi, or like not hi, but like I'll kind of like lead a sentence on. Like I'll say how one day, and then the next day I'll say is, Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, everyone, and then Thursday, doing. So I spread it out. I really actually didn't have any actual jokes to tell.
How do you like the job?
But
Do you like it?
how do I like it?
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. I hate everything about what I do. It's really
But
aggravating.
I couldn't hate you fucking worse. And that's why.
Here's what happens though, and I don't know if anyone knows. So like people when they call in, I work at a call center, so I literally I sit and I answer calls. So I talk to all the providers. They call in. So like Monday hits and everybody's miserable. And usually, and I talk, like, and it's funny, you kind of get to know people by, like, just their first name, which is typically what we ask for. So, like, I get, like, every morning, like, I'll always get, like, a Becky, a Tiffany, a Michelle. And it's like you can tell, like, Becky, when she rolls up, like, on a Monday morning, it's a fucking large Dunkin' coffee with 17 shots of espresso. She's wearing sweatpants, she's hungover, and she doesn't want to talk to anybody. That's typically how it goes in the world of insurance. Now, the problem with insurance is that, like, everyone in this room right now doesn't know what their insurance policy entails. They don't know what their coverage is, and that's the best part about it, because I feel like I have total control. Like, I know, like, I understand what the policies cover. None of you do, which is totally fine. So you go to your doctor's office, and you go there for an appointment, and then you don't know what you're getting. You don't even know. You walk into, like, let's say a dental office. You have no idea what your coverage is, and then they charge you up the yin yang, and then they make up some kind of bullshit excuse, and you sit there passive, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to take it. And then at the end of the year, your maximum's gone. Not even before that. They just swallow your maximum up, and then you don't have no coverage. Yeah, so working in a call center is probably one of the most interesting things that I think I've ever done with my entire life. Aside from being a medical device sales rep, which is totally different.
Kind of devices.
It's a little different. It's funny because like when.
What's the funniest thing that ever happened in insurance?
Funniest thing that happens in insurance. So
There you
for
go,
me,
there you
when
go.
I have this one thing. When I get a call, like let's say I like typically a funny call. Usually the best call is when like a psychiatric office calls up, because they prescribe medicines. It's super funny when they call in, because usually they're really. It's funny. It's actually kind of a coincidence it's ironic because they usually call up super distraught. Like I'll usually get an office manager. You're never normally dealing with the doctor. You're usually dealing with the office manager. And when they call up, they're usually completely pissed off because something wasn't covered, right? And it's in a psych office. It's usually medication. A lot of medications are not typically covered, which is you're dealing with patients whether they have schizophrenia, some kind of psychosis, but it's. They call in and they flip out on you because the drug isn't covered, and then you have to tell them like, I'm sorry. Like I don't say sorry. I typically don't say sorry. That's just how it works. So you deal with it.
You never say sorry?
No, I don't. I say that's per our guidelines. This is what it dictates. You should have read it before you called in.
Insurance is never sorry.
Yeah. So I've had one. It's funny. I think a lot of they're like they'll call me. They'll make excuses. Oh well, this patient's they're severe schizophrenic. They tell me a lot of personal information. I remember the one time I had one, and I hung up the phone. I was like, at the end of it all. It was like the only cure for a lot of these people, because the drugs don't really help. The drugs don't really help.
Drugs don't help.
The best cure for some of these psychoses is high velocity transcortical lead therapy. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's actually, yeah, it's a complete cure. It's actually one of the best. It's like it'll get rid of literally any psychosis you have, like, and it's permanent too. But the problem is that it not only is it permanent, but you're dead after that. You're gone. It's high velocity transcortical lead therapy. If you don't know, is actually a bullet. That's kind of a funny joke.
What is it? How do we get it?
Yeah. Yeah, just go find your
What is a 5-syllable?
find your nearest gun store. That's where you find it.
There you go.
Oh yeah, no, it's such a mundane life. I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a big fan. I like insurance. It is kind of fun talking to some of these psychopaths that call in. I like the irrational behavior that they have. It's kind of funny. But aside from that, my after work, really, it's like, you sign off at the computer. You're done. That's it. I don't really do much other than that. My dating life is pretty much gone. I don't really date at all. I think the last date I went on was about maybe a year and a half ago. I actually went on a date. I went out with a girl for like 2 months before we actually did anything, which was actually wild. Yeah, it was 2 months I didn't do anything. We ended up getting after it one night, and it was fucking amazing. And she was like, listen, I think, she's like, I've been waiting for this for so long. This has been, I've actually fantasized about you. And I thought, that's, wow. Like, you thought about me? Like, what, when you're, obviously, but, so, so after after this period of time, I was like, so you fantasized about me, you thought about me, okay, great. So let me ask you something. The fantasy version of me, right? The fantasy version that you thought about, did the fantasy version also say, that's as deep as I can go?
What's he saying? What's he saying? I gotta know. You'll save that for the other open mic, I guess? The fuck, I never knew.
You did it!
Good shit,
John
Johnny.
Vasili.
Good shit. John Vasili, everybody. John Vasili.
Thank you.